Welcome everyone, and welcome back to a highlight video from the Civilization World Cup. This is Auguthy speaking, and we're going back to a match I casted as the opening game of the tournament, where Robert Deboite from Civfr faced off PP Patrol, which was a CPL team. A very eventful match, a lot of action, and without further ado, let's just go jump straight into the action. It was technically a Pangea. It looked like two continents connected with some sort of land bridge, and most of the action actually happened on the left side of the map. So let's go straight away check what's there. Here we see the player MGK from the French team, actually having a peculiar start with a weird desert around him. But what was the most notable fact was that Jack was very close to him, and we all know how much City can be dangerous in the early game and how a little production Mali can get. So it was very the worst case scenario for the French team after all those remaps. On top of it, Jack had a lot of food and production ready to be able to put pressure as he wished. The only saving grace for Civfr team was that Milambert was to the west on the coast, not too far, even though there were a few mountains, hills, and forests. So he should have had a 1-3-1 tile as well to get the early Pantheon as well to get a stronger start. So the plan was really to get him involved and delay the Scythian Empire. Though, very quickly, the Maori decided to settle right next to his ally. So Falcon on the Maori transformed this in a 2v2 scenario, while Carrier behind on the Canada played this game without too much impact. We also have here the last player for the CPL team, Rage of Boom. He actually had a spawn right next to Chocolate Hills. Very strong start. One of the best starts we've seen in this tournament so far. To the south, we had the other great player played by Tam Lim here. And to the northeast, there was Korea. All of this on the right side of the map. There was so much space that very little action actually happened on this side. So little that Korea decided to actually go into naval warfare, so get some caravels and try to relieve the Persian Empire in the future from the Maori offensive, as you'll see. It's been this game has been a very heavy considered onto the left side of the map, so we're going to go back there, and we see that the first settler from Falcon actually settled right next to Persia here, a forward settle. The tile was actually protected by Jack as well to ensure the settle could be placed. And not only it was very aggressive, but a lot of investments were made with warriors, builders, and so on to make sure to steal tiles from the capital and take the positions when needed. So it forced Milambert to actually back settle with his first settler. And eventually, his second settler, he attempted to grab the lake, which you see on the map. On the Mali side, we had actually a Defender of the Faith religion rushed, as well as an encampment, as well as a government plaza. So there was a lot of districts like planned there, but we'll see. It didn't work out as well as you would hope so. There were a lack of investment on the Civfr team. Too few units were there to really protect everything he needed. You can see here, very good move by Jack. Jack who actually denies entirely the settle on the lake from this Persian Empire here by selling the cattle. So Milambert was forced to first move on the Iron Tile to at least be able to settle the third city, which was effectively on the Grey Tile. So the start for Civfr was pretty catastrophic. On top of it, Rage of Wood actually had a very strong pantheon with the Earth Goddess, which gave him a lot of faith to be able to have a very strong impact in the game. The sim from Korea was nothing out of the ordinary, nor the sim from Tamnim. It was all pretty standard. Most of the action, really, most of the funds and the goal was sent to the left side of the map on either the Persian player or Maori player here. And very quickly, you see, like you can see here, the sim from the Mali. It's going to show that Jack understood the situation very well and went for a lot of horses early and Saka horse archers to put as much pressure as the Mali as possible, because most of the gold was actually spent on Persia in the early game, so making Mali very vulnerable. He tried to get this defender. He actually managed to get it. He got a general. There was a delay on the general for Persia, but he also got one. And eventually, even though there was an attempt to deny the Persian general from the Scythian Empire, the pressure from the Maori was not enough to entirely deny the general on Persia. Though, as you can see, the Persian lands were always pillaged or always into threat on the Maori units. A very interesting fact here is that Rage decided to do a rush for the Acropolis very early without any government or the craftsmanship or any civic. And it really paid off as he gave the culture to his whole team. And here you go, at the same time this was happening, the horses from Jack actually arrived at MGK's capital, which unfortunately for the Civfr team fell within 2 or 3 turns. So it was very, very hard, a hard blow, especially as the religion had not spread yet to his other cities. He lost most of his units, and once the capital fell, there was really no way to recover for the Civfr team. This whole interaction was done so quickly that even though a few archers got out from MGK, there was really little to be done. And at the same time, the pressure done by the Maori on the Persia, was effectively very hard for Civfr. As you can see right here, the Immortals got out, saving a little bit the day for Persia, but most of the boats were now getting experience, and most of the Toas were getting all what was needed to get the capital in the future. Though at the very end of the game, finally Chuck on Korea arrived with caravels, and he managed to get relieve a little bit of the pressure on the sea. But it was too little, too late, as the army that was previously at the Mali's borders is now back at Persia as well from the north, effectively killing him in his last city in between the sandwich between Maori and Scythia. So from this point on, it was a 2 versus 4 for Civfr. They decided to concede the game to the CPL team. Very well played. And if you liked it, don't forget to put a thumbs up and like, subscribe. And otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.